Alright, so before we move to the opinions of SPD representatives, I would like you, if you are able to compare what you've heard with the rules of local referenda in your countries, just as much as you know.
For the local referendums, can we discuss those topics which are belonging to the decision of the local government, which is not related to the taxation and to the personal topics of the local government?
There was a referendum in one small village, and they asked, the question was whether people agree with the development or construction of waste dump or some facility for waste of a dangerous or hazardous waste. The question was very manipulative because you cannot put such a strong negative word into question. The wording is not correct.
26 out of 47 referendums was organized by local councils, and 14 of them were valid, and 21 were held after a civic motion, and 10 were valid. But I think the numbers don't reveal the whole truth or the whole process of the referendum in the town or a city, because a lot of the times it was like the example of the district Prague 10, when preparatory committee gained all the signatures and they wanted to hold the referendum, and then the town or city decided to hold the referendum itself.
And I remember that there was one in Łódź several years ago, like 8 or even more, that was successful. So, and we also had this high threshold.
Impeachment, sorry, what is
changing, ending the term. Sorry, impeachment was a joke, like impeachment of the president of the United States. So there was once, and it was actually they had a pretty crazy person on this position in big city, like 13 Poland as regards number of inhabitants, and they successfully changed him. But then there was also a referendum in Warsaw that was led by by one of the politicians, and there was a very low turnout.
With like a turnout of 50% or 20%, just to get some attention. Even Mr. Fritz of today's Praze, he had some referendum on some really minor topic, and he wanted to get some attention on the So it's being misused. It's being misused for political purposes.
Exactly is actually coded in electoral code about local referenda or civic decision making, if there is anything.
There is two main legal acts which regulate this area. It's electoral code of the Republic of Belarus and the law of local governance and self-governance. There is 7 steps before you will be able to make a local referendum. So the first step is the formation of this initiative group, which will be able to collect signatures for the referendum. There is no list of questions or statements which could be voted at the local referendum or forbidden to vote, but there is very vague statement that the most important issues of the territory, and this justice agency of the local territory decides whether this question is important and if it could be voted or not. So you can see that at this third step, for instance, executive branch of local authorities can ban your attempt to make a referendum just without any ideas. After the result of audit of those signatures, some of them could be wrong or maybe duplicated or something, so they making this audit. After the audit, the executive committee determines the required number of reliable signatures which has been collected. The initiative group draws up the final act on the collection of signatures and submits it to the relevant executive body, which transfers it finally to the local council of deputies. Yeah, finally.
As Ondřej mentioned, monitoring of elections. Just to give you an idea, well, one of the obvious issues is in terms of corruption when we discuss such a topic is money in politics, right? And the easy approach is that, okay, well, money always will be in politics, it's a part of the political marketing, and in today's world you cannot actually deny that. So, and for 10 years we were actually trying to, and we are struggling to lobby and advocate for change of regulation, to make stricter rules on party finance, on regulation of campaigning, with very little success, right? So it was perhaps we pushed a little bit, but not far away. So what we decided recently, like 4 years ago, that we will monitor financing of every elections that actually happen in the country, and that we will use our brand to relatively risky exercise to actually evaluate every candidate and every candidating party in elections according to level of disclosure, openness, transparency.
Nice to meet you. My name is Marina Pozdrova. As Ondra introduced me, I'm director of Czech-based organization Civic Belarus, which was established 12 years ago by Czech dissidents as a reaction to persecutions of civil society in Belarus. In fields we are working mainly, which is independent media. We actually established from the Czech side independent radio in exile, transmission from Poland. It's called Every Radio. And we work with the network of independent journalists across the country.
Last life, because of course live journalism, the same blogs had died in the world. In a big part in Belarus the same, because in Belarus nowadays it's better to use some social network, and now better to use like a Twitter, Facebook, and only from this year Одноклассники. That's usually never used before, and Vkontakte, of course, the most popular social network. But I cannot say that this one is a blogs, but we publish some problems, write about some things, and other people are reposting, sharing, and so it's like a blog.
Very small group of citizens really can travel to the EU, and what they compare their life in. They can compare it with the Ukrainian a little bit poorer than Belarusian citizens, and what they can compare with Russia.
My name is Petr Lebeda. I'm founder and director of Glopolis, which is what I would call think and do tank. So we're trying to come from more of an analytical background, but do various activities including awareness raising, advocacy, education. So the portfolio is broad. We also cover a number of global issues, because the key objective or mission of the organization is basically to bring global issues to the Czech Republic and find positive constructive local responses. So we cover issues like food security, climate change, tax justice, migration.
I'm not going to develop too much, but in Poland it's a constitutional guarantee and then the law that regulates procedures. Our organization was actually established to some extent to protect this law. So it's like our basic, we say we are a dog that is on guard of the right to know.
Is it a successful model if they really so obviously setting the fake NGOs? Does it work for Commission? Isn't there those
very we have problems with EU Commission about the transparency of the money distributed in Belarus. We have this.
There's also political interest on the side of the Commission to spend the money, right?
Of course.